5 on your side at 10 starts now.
Tomorrow's going to be chilly, but a big pattern change means much warmer conditions as we get through Christmas week. I've got your full forecast coming up.
Vital resources for Illinois students are at risk.
And we just found out that we lost the funding this week, right before the holidays.
We're uncovering how last-minute funding cuts could impact 19,000 kids and the communities that rely on them. Tonight's top story:
Hi, Daddy!
A Christmas surprise for the family of an injured police officer, TJ Brown. Thanks for joining us at 10, everyone. I'm Robert Townsend. It's been nearly a year and a half since Ferguson police officer TJ Brown was seriously hurt during a protest. Tonight, the Ferguson community is still showing up for him and his daughters this Christmas. 5 on your side's Megan Kearney shows us how a department and a city made this holiday a little brighter for the officer's two daughters, Megan.
Robert, this is a story about resilience, faith, and a community that never stopped caring. Officer TJ Brown continues to recover from a traumatic brain injury, but today his family got a powerful reminder that he's not fighting alone.
Applause filled the Ferguson Police Department for a surprise that brought smiles and some tears for Officer TJ Brown's family. Dozens of wrapped presents, gift cards, and handwritten notes, all donated by the community for TJ's daughters, 9-year-old Millie and 7-year-old Emmy. Officer TJ Brown is still recovering from a traumatic brain injury that he suffered during a protest on the 10-year anniversary of Michael Brown's death, almost a year and a half ago.
I really thank you that you continue to keep him on your mind, and not only him, but his girls.
Millie and Emmy's mom, Jasmine Brown, says the last year has tested them, but what's never wavered is the support from Ferguson.
We feel the support and the love from this department. I don't know that any other department would have handled this situation the way that it's been handled. So I also want to thank Chief Doyle. Hi, Daddy! Hi, Daddy!
The best gift of all came when TJ's daughters got to see and talk to their dad on FaceTime from his rehab facility in Nebraska.
You can see the expression on his face. He's extremely happy. For our community to come out the way they did, for our dear brother, it's just just heartwarming. But this is what Ferguson is. You know, this is what we do. This is how our community supports us.
Chief Troy Doyle says the department wanted TJ's daughters to have the kind of Christmas their dad would have made sure they had himself.
Things will never be the same until, Officer Brown walked back through these doors, and I do believe that will happen one day.
I've never thought that we would have been here right now.
A child's words carrying strength beyond her years.
Thank you for everything in this journey.
The Brown family sent us a statement a few hours ago saying their lives changed in an instant when TJ was injured in the line of duty. They say, quote, in the midst of suffering, a community and then an entire country rose up around us with love, compassion, and support in every way imaginable. They say by the grace of God, TJ still has life and purpose. And today's gifts are another reminder of that love as he continues to get stronger and his daughters head into the holidays. If you'd like to help, the Ferguson Police Department is still accepting gift cards for the family through the new year. Robert?
Megan, so nice to see the community helping that officer. Right now, St. Louis police are investigating a shooting in South St. Louis. We learned about this shooting in the last hour. Police say it happened around 9 at the intersection of South Broadway and Chippewa. They found a man shot with critical injuries. We're still working at this hour to learn more about this developing story. Tonight, we're also still working to learn more about a fiery crash into a North City warehouse. This happened shortly before 5 this morning on Geraldine, not far from the St. Louis Police North Patrol building. St. Louis fire investigators tell us the vehicle went into the building and caught fire. We reached out to officials for more information about what caused this crash, but have not heard back. Well, after more than a decade, downtown Wheelhouse is shutting down. The bar's owners announced the closure today on social media. They did not share why the bar was closing, but thanked customers and staff who have come and gone since they opened 11 years ago on Spruce Street. Doors will shut for good after its final party on New Year's Eve. This week, just before the holidays, Illinois schools found out federal funding for community school districts are cut. And they're saying it's putting 19,000 students across the state at risk. 5 on your side's Reagan DeTrolio spoke with East St. Louis community school officials as they tried to navigate the situation ahead of the new year.
Community schools are really a lifeline for our working families.
But with the federal funding running out on December 31st, programs essential to student learning are in jeopardy.
And we just found out that we lost the funding this week, right before the holidays. The funding from the federal government was for 5 years, and we're only about 1 year into the program.
32 schools across Illinois and 2 in East St. Louis, including this one I'm in, rely on these federal funds to keep multiple programs up and running.
Annette Officer Elementary School Principal Darla Wall says the money funds things like reading programs, clothing and food drives, and after-school programs.
That is allowing those parents that do have to work early to get here on time.
We have families here at Officer Elementary who work 2 or 3 jobs. We have single-parent families. We also have grandparents as guardians.
Principals like Wall say she may be forced to let go of staff, which she says is not ideal since this school's student population continues to grow.
They are coming with huge deficits because either they've not been in school, they've had, personal issues in their life that they've not been at school, but we're able to build on that by having these programs. Getting the additional 65 plus students is going to be difficult without the funding because the funding provides those services such as the math fellows, the reading tutors, the after-school support, and all the programs.
Now schools like Walls are left scrambling, trying to figure out how to keep these educational programs alive without the federal funding.
If that goes away, yes, it's our school community, but it's also the community that we live in.
Reporting in East St. Louis, I'm Reagan DeTrolio, 5 on your side.
And tonight, the Polar Express train ride at Union Station had a guest conductor. Meet Jimmy. He's a 13-year-old Make-A-Wish kid whose lifelong dream has been to travel to St. Louis and lead the Polar Express. Hours ago, he got to do just that.
Jimmy loves trains. He's always loved watching trains, and he loves the movie Polar Express. Who doesn't love the Polar Express? So when thinking about all of the things he could do with his Make-A-Wish experience, it almost seems like a no-brainer for Jimmy to come here and get to be a conductor on the one and only Polar Express.
Now, Jimmy spent the night shadowing the train's real-life conductor. He was even given a conductor's hat and offered the chance to help punch visitors' golden tickets. Tonight's wish was granted after Jimmy recently underwent a kidney transplant. Today, Blue Origin made history, sending the world's first wheelchair user into space. 33-year-old Michaela Benthaus is an engineer from Germany who traded her wheelchair for a rocket. Today, she and 5 others blasted into space, 62 miles above the Earth. The ride lasted about 10 minutes. Benthaus said she laughed all the way up and called it the coolest experience.
We do expect a significant increase in holiday travel during this holiday period.
The holiday travel rush is officially underway. Tonight, we're helping you and your family get ready, the do's and don'ts if you're traveling on the roads and what you need to know before packing your presents.
Today's highs were in the mid-50s across the region. Tomorrow's going to be chilly, but then we're headed to the 70s next week. I've got your full Christmas week forecast coming up next.
Now to some new details from the NTSB about a plane crash that killed former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, his family, and 2 others. The agency says the plane tried to return to the airport in North Carolina shortly after takeoff. Investigators say the plane was stable on approach but came in too low, hitting light poles and a tree line before crashing on the runway. Tonight, NASCAR fans across the nation continue to mourn Biffle's death. This is new video of his picture outside the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina, as fans stop by to pay their respects.
Did Stocks for Tots and had a line around the Mac Center and out down the street trying to raise toys for needy kids. And he sat there all night long and signed autographs.
Meanwhile, the NTSB could release its preliminary report in about 30 days. However, the full report won't be available for at least 12 to 18 months. Right now, the holiday travel rush is officially underway. The travel period started today and lasts until New Year's. AAA estimates a record 122 million people will hit the road or skies. They say 110 million of those travelers will be driving. Here's a look at the best and worst times to travel, according to AAA. They say right now is the best time to hit the roads if you're traveling tonight. If you're traveling later, it's recommended you hit the road before 11 a.m. tomorrow or before 10 a.m. as we get closer to Christmas. Analysts tell us this year drivers will save big at the pump. National gas prices are below $3, which hasn't happened in 4 years. Now, as we give you a live look at Lambert International Airport, AAA estimates more than 8 million people are flying to their holiday destinations. That's 18 million more flyers compared to last year. Tonight, TSA is sharing travel tips when it comes to presents. Gifts with more than 3.4 ounces of liquid, like a snow globe, must be checked. They're also discouraging people from wrapping presents.
Anything that's fully wrapped, our officers who screen the checked baggage may need to unwrap this in the checked baggage screening as well.
Instead, they suggest putting gifts in bags like this so TSA agents can easily screen what's inside. The holiday break period also began today for thousands of service members from Fort Leonard Wood. Today, the USO held its annual Green Day at Lambert. They provided service members and their families with food, activities, and a separate space to relax away from all the busy parts of the airport. The nonprofit says it's an opportunity to alleviate stress as troops travel home for the holidays. Coming up, St. Louis School. An elementary school, in fact, transforming into a winter wonderland. See how a local nonprofit is spreading joy. Today, a St. Louis elementary school was turned into a winter wonderland for a holiday toy giveaway. The event was held at Common Lane Elementary School in Florissant. It was organized by local nonprofit Breaking Generational Poverty. Its founder, Precious Jones, says the event is to make the season a little brighter for local families.
We try to have this space as a Christmas day for them so that at least they have that moment so where they can still feel like normal kids, and the families, the adults can kind of, get some relaxation or take, just keep all the good energy in a room. And hopefully for that moment, it will take them away from what they're dealing with, because loss during the holidays are very, very hard.
This was the third year they have held this giveaway. They plan to continue the tradition next year.
3, 2, 1, go!
And that was the moment. The 2025 Jingle Bell Run took off this morning. The 5K race is part of an annual fundraiser hosted by the National Arthritis Foundation. The foundation's Missouri chapter organized today's race at Steel Shop in St. Charles. More than 350 people you can see participating in this year's event. They raised nearly $49,000. A great event that's always going strong for a great cause. A somewhat chilly day for a 5K, some might say. Let's check back in with meteorologist Lance Blocker. And Lance, you're tracking an even colder summer, but the good news, we're going to see a possible record breaker on Christmas Day.
Yeah, it's going to feel more like Christmas in July.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not that.
Santa will need his sandals, I'm hearing.
That's right. That's right. And I got a graphic for that here in just a moment. Here's a live look over at the Arch. Looking good this evening, but not feeling good. It is a little bit chilly out there. Temperatures are in the 30s across the region. We're at 34 degrees right now. 37 degrees up in Alton. Farmington's right around 40 degrees, I guess, 30 to 40. Somewhere in there. It's in the 30s across the entire region. I didn't realize Farmington was off of the chart right now. All right, so 28 degrees as we head out tomorrow morning. So cold. It will be breezy as well. So you'll want to make sure you got a jacket on as you head out early tomorrow. But the sunshine will make it look warmer than it actually is. We're not actually going to warm up too much. Temperatures will be in the low 40s tomorrow afternoon, then tomorrow evening, upper 30s. So across the board, Sunday, chilly. Next week, though, not so much. This is what Santa could look like right here as he passes by the Arch. We got some big warming conditions as we move through the week next week. A gradual warming trend beginning really Monday, then it cranks up Tuesday and Wednesday. Record warmth possible, especially on Christmas Day, but the uncertainty is still in how much cloud cover we get. If we get more clouds than not, we might not be as warm, but we're still going to be right at or slightly above the record high established back in 1889. So let's go and look at the forecast in detail now. Again, 42 low 40s for us here tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. Low 50s for us on Monday, but we crank that up into the low 70s for Christmas Day. The ridge of high pressure begins to back off as we get into next weekend, and that's really what's causing all of this. The warm air surging north with that high pressure in our region. That also means we'll stay dry. That means no big systems will move across our region. The high pressure basically blocks all of those. So quiet conditions precipitation wise, maybe some light drizzle on Wednesday. Looking ahead to next weekend, perhaps a slim chance of rain. So again, more detail here as we move through the work week next week. The big, well, I say work week, it's Christmas week next week. I'm used to saying work week, Robert. It's work week for us, right?
Well, for you, I'm off.
Well, okay, well, I'll be here, and I'll be here tracking Santa Christmas Eve as well. So we'll help them get through the region. Looking forward to that.
A lot of kiddos will be excited to get out there and ride those bikes.
Yeah, a great day for playing with toys on Christmas Day.
They're looking forward to it. Thank you. Now here's Corey with what's next in sports.
Well, the Blues did something tonight in Florida they hadn't done all season long, and a trio of St. Louis natives came up huge under the lights of the college football playoff. Sports is up after the break.
Right now on the free 5+ streaming app, a new special recapping the moments and news stories that made 2025 unforgettable. Search for KSDK in your smart TV's app store. We'll be right back.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel is now available in Missouri.
It's a Florida swing for the Blues before a 4-day holiday break. The injuries have mounted. The results haven't been amazing, but the Blues have kept on fighting, and they had perhaps one of their most impressive performances of the season tonight against the defending champion Panthers. Jim Montgomery's squad still just a few points out of a playoff position as 2026 nears, taking on Paul Maurice's back-to-back champion Panthers. Blues strike first. Jake Neighbors on the tip-in. 1-0 Blues. Then the new guy stays hot. Jonathan Bergeron, second goal in as many games, 2-0 Blues. Panthers tied it at 2, but then Justin Falk beats the second period buzzer to give the Blues the lead. Nice to see the note on the right side of a buzzer-beating goal, isn't it? They came out and smothered Florida in the third. Great play from Braden Shen to Otto Stenberg. Then Neighbors finished off another one. 4-2 Blues. Robert Thomas got 2 goals in the third period, an empty netter, and this ringer off the post. Blues score a season-high 6 goals and knock off the defending Cup champions 6-2.
And sometimes, you know, I've always believed in being spiritual, but the hockey gods is something I really believe in. And I thought we played a really good game, and things were going against us, and then we got that goal at the end of the second, the Falk goal, and it was almost like we were being rewarded for our patience and our hard work together.
The debates will likely never end. Notre Dame fans are always going to be mad about being left out of the college football playoff, but now at least we have some actual playoff games to add to all that discourse. It was a busy day. Oregon hosting James Madison in a truly insane night for St. Louis natives on the Ducks roster. First, Hazelwood Central's Tion Gray gets his paw on the ball and blocks a field goal for Oregon. Then, Althoff's De'Aaron Hill Jr. proves he's one of the most electrifying players in the country with a 56-yard touchdown run. Hill is having a huge game. And guess what? We're still not done because CBC's Jeremiah McClellan had this awesome touchdown catch. Also had a big game. Bottom line, recruit kids from St. Louis. They show up on the big stage as Oregon is taking care of JMU late in this game. The Lane Kiffin drama's over and Ole Miss finally got back on the field for the playoffs. They hosted Tulane today. They didn't waste any time. Former Mizzou running back Kawan Lacey goes right into the end zone on the first drive, 7-0 Ole Miss. The Rebs kept pouring it on. They roll right over the green wave of Tulane with a 41-10 victory and will face Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Texas A&M and a crowd of over 100,000 welcome Miami to town. Michael Irvin looking just a little bit nervous on the sideline. Tied at 3 in the fourth, and Malachi Toney finally gets a touchdown to put Miami on top late. A&M had a final shot at it, but Marcel Reed is picked off in the end zone as the Hurricanes go on the road and win 10-3 to advance to play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. Midwest Showdown Shootout put on by Ramey Basketball had some big high school hoops matchups tonight. Vashon took on Kankakee. First up, nice rejection from Vashon's Christian Potts. Then on the other end, Leon Powell Jr. slips through the defense for a Vashon bucket. Then a nice finish coming up from the Wolverines' Khalil Crane. However, Kankakee came to town and knocked off powerhouse Vashon 60-53. Over to the visitation tournament, John Burroughs facing St. Joseph's. Always a great holiday staple. Piper Mooney was a scoring machine early. Nice layup for the Angels. Burroughs coming back the other way. Going to be Mariah Douglas. That's a fast break finish. Let's go back to Mooney, though. She can hit from deep as well for St. Joseph's as the Angels go on to win 71-51. Robert, that will do it for sports.
Thanks a lot, Corey. All right, everybody, it's 5 days until Christmas, and lots of Powerball players, no doubt, are crossing their fingers they will become an instant multi-millionaire. Tonight's drawing is an estimated $1.5 billion with a cash option of $689 million. Small change, right? The last jackpot was on September 6th with a pair of winners in Missouri and Texas sharing a whopping $1.7 billion jackpot. Tonight's numbers just came into our newsroom. They are 4, 4, 28, 52. I'm going to do this again. 4, 5, 28, 52, 69, and 20. Check your tickets. All right, Lance, did you play?
I did not, so I didn't win.
All righty. That's our show. We'll see you tomorrow.